So the Buffalo Bills with an outrageous comeback against the Baltimore Ravens, winning 23-20 with an amazing moment for the Buffalo Bills. They finally broke the losing streak of one possession game against the Baltimore Ravens, which is one scoring. So this was huge. Like, for example, 7 point, 8 point, 3 points, 2, whatever, just in one possession. This was a huge moment because lack of execution was a big, huge adversity for the team overall for the Buffalo Bills. But Ken Dorsey, that nobody has ever heard of, compared to Brian Daboll, which he was like a former Patriot, like coordinator, which he was in the Super Bowl multiple times with him. So, but there's something that he does not do well. It's called execution, and Ken Dorsey just did that just today. So, which is great. So, before we get into anything else, I just did not watch the entire game overall. I was just at the high school. We just watched a football game of our cousins overall, and that went well, and they just won the game overall, so good for them. So let's get right to it here. So now, this was a video. Now, basically, there's a lower quality version, but I just want to get this right off the way and get some statistics for each and every player of their stats. So Josh Allen, 19-36, 213 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, first drive. That was just, sometimes you make bad passes, and that was just one of them. Yeah, 283 yards in total, which is 70 for his rushing, which is another touchdown, which is 2, which is cool. That's 1. Singletary did really outrageously good when it comes to Dawson Knox. Good combination with them both. Stephon Diggs had a pretty good day, 62 yards, averaging about 15 yards and a half. Singletary, 4 yards, almost about 50 yards in total, which is pretty incredible. Dawson Knox had a good game, 4 yards, averaging 13 yards. Khalil Shakir really shined up really well, 23 yards. No touchdowns, but Isaac McKenzie, a touchdown before halftime, about 21 yards, and then somewhere in third quarter, I think he had like a concussion. He was out of the game like permanently, but he's okay. It's not as bad compared to Tua Tagovailoa, so it's all good. So he will be back by next week. Gabe Davis, not sufficient when it comes to receiving, but pass blocking, really efficient, which is good. Crowder, I've heard he was out of the game, so he only had about 7 yards. But when it comes to the other side of the football, Matt Milano, 11 tackles, 2 assists. Damar Hamlin had a good day, 7 tackles, which is great. Tremaine Edmonds, about 5 tackles against Lamar Jackson. Yeah, 4 assists, which is great. Jordan Poyer, probably player of the week, 4 tackles, but 2 interceptions. One, I think this was like third or fourth quarter, but the one is in fourth quarter, which is probably the final drive for Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh. And it was because of bad coaching. I have to say it because they just blew the game. I know they could have gone for 23-23 the game, but instead about that, going for like a field goal attempt, they do is just trying to convert for 4th down to the end zone for a touchdown, but instead, Jordan Poyer made a pick. And this is just, it's called about coaching, and basically, I don't understand why. There was a lot of controversy into Baltimore side, and Marcus Peters was really upset about it. If that's the name, I don't know, but who cares? Sam Martin had a good game too. A total of 136 yards, averaging about 45 yards, which is good. But the best thing about it as possible is when that ball comes from here and then makes it like a little bit of a right curve. I mean, a left curve against the Titans, which forced players to fumble most of the time, or quite frankly, a lot. So, despite no punter got about 80 yards, you don't need a punter. But case scenario wise, you need a punter just to trick a lot of players up, which is great. And this is what the Bills does so well. If we would not have the requirement players or required players as we did like before right to now, we could have lost this game and did not have the motivation as used to be before. So Tyler Bass, 3-3. The last one was really great. 39 yards was his long. 11 points he scored. So this is the Bills complete their comeback with a game-winning field goal to break the streak of one possession ball game. And here it is. This is just a clip, by the way. Besides, I'm not monetizing, by the way. Otherwise. And this was a solid, more like surprising moment for most of those who thinking the Bills would not win the game. And that was definitely one of them. I just think like other teams need to step up if you're trying to compete the Bills. And I just don't personally think right now. Well, actually, Cincinnati might have a chance to beat the Buffalo Bills. But as of right now, I just think Bills are still the better team overall, despite with the injuries on their secondary. And I'm glad they bounced back. And the box score shows it right there. And coming back from a outrageous, terrible first half was great. It was amazing because they've learned from what it comes to against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from last season, not a year ago, but last season. That was a really good game until the controversy was there. That passing interference call, it was a no call, so it's just in the past. But I'm just so glad what the Buffalo Bills did against the Baltimore Ravens, and I just don't think there's no doubt they will be seeing them again. I definitely think in Buffalo once the Bills clinch the first seed in the AFC as their entire division as well. So Kansas City Chiefs, I can't wait for them to come to Buffalo. I hope, but I just think there's high hopes for the Bills team to absolutely keep rolling and win game by bit, one game at a time, one play at a time, and they just got it done. Clicking all cylinders in the second half. I can wait for them to first against the Steelers at Orchard Park in Buffalo, and let's see, it's going to be a blowout. I'm predicting about 47-3 or near to 50, which is going to be great. I'm thinking about Josh Allen getting, I know TJ Watt is not there, I think. Did I remember he was there? I don't know, but who cares? Still, it's going to be a massacre next week. I can't wait to see the Buffalo Bills blowing out the Steelers. It's going to be an amazing moment. I just can't wait. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this reaction video. I know this is not as a reaction video, but this is just a post-game afterthought reaction of how the Bills did and what they could have done better or do this and do that. But this is just a different type of video. Usually I do like point and shoot reaction videos like on the TV during live on air recording. But this is just different just because I just want to get this video done for you guys and do it the best way as possible. Be sure to like the video, comment, do so, share it with your friends, subscribe for more. We see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.